Historically, the middle class has been instrumental in the rise of fascism around the world, and we're seeing a lot of the same patterns today as we did in the 1930s. From 1929 to 1939, the world went through the Great Depression. Fascists in Germany and Italy were able to weaponize the economic anxiety of the middle class and offer a twisted nationalistic alternative to gain power. Benito Mussolini, founder of the National Fascist Party in Italy, noted in the 1930s that the middle classes were the most fascistized part of Italian society, or at least the part that was most heavily influenced by the regime's propaganda. The various local division leaders of the National Fascist Party were made up of lawyers, office workers, doctors, and writers, all the lower and middle white-collar and professional classes. A similar process took place in Germany with the rise of Hitler and the Nazi Party. Support for the Nazi Party was particularly strong among rural middle-class farmers, shopkeepers, and artisans. That group gave them the support that the party needed to come to power in 1932 with over 50% of the popular vote. And the liberal political parties of Germany at the time, like the German Democrats and the People's Party, ultimately failed to stop the Nazi rise to power because of their centrist policies and ineffectual leadership. It's worth noting too that the youth, especially middle-class young men, also played a critical role in the rise of fascism in both Italy and Germany. The Nazi youth doubled in size between 1932 and 1933, and in Italy, nearly half of the male university student population were a part of the fascist party at one point. We're seeing many of the same trends today in the US, which ultimately created the conditions that led to Trump's clear victory. Trump and the Republicans for years have appealed to a rural middle class who have felt increasingly alienated by elitist Democrats. The United States is experiencing an economic downturn on par with the Great Recession in 2008, and along with that is a similar level of anxiety, if not greater. And between AI, climate change, and global war, young people are way more disillusioned about the current system and are seeking radical change. And as always, Democrats are unwilling to embrace truly progressive policies that would redistribute wealth away from the hands of the wealthiest. People everywhere see that centrist liberal policies have failed, and now they're looking for answers in the extremes, the far left and the far right. And unfortunately, the United States doesn't have a true far left, so here we are. The silver lining though is that if you consider yourself a part of the left, we have a big opportunity over the next few years. It's more clear than ever that centrism doesn't work. You can't defeat the far right with business as usual. 15 million Democrats stayed home last election. That's 15 million people asking what's next. And the next 4 years and beyond, it's our chance to build that answer. So if you like this video, I talk about this kind of stuff and way more at theconsciouscitizens.org, which is an initiative that my studio started to make political activism more approachable and inspiring. It's a bi-weekly newsletter with political education, inspiring news stories, community highlights, and calls to action, as well as a huge online directory of all the useful resources and tools and education that we find online. It's free to sign up, but it's also a great way to support our work, which we would really appreciate. I also have a public action toolkit and many other quick tasks that you can do today. Whatever it is, do at least one thing today to create the future that you want to see.